What they do.
Hi.
Try.
Oh my goodness.
Aces and jewels.
I feel like I miss y'all. Like, what we been? I
haven't
miss you.
been hiding or nothing.
I know. It felt like forever. Oh.
Yeah, because our new recording schedule. That's why.
Yeah.
So what they do, Tribe of Aces and Jewels.
All right, y'all.
Hopefully y'all week went well.
Hello.
Y'all enjoyed what has happened within the last week. If not,
Yes.
you all are encouraged and understand. Like I had to tell my son yesterday.
All right.
And we moved on.
Okay.
So what we got today, T.
So for today, because I'm all about still like you said, encourage one another, uplift, so I love things like that. So it's like, know your value.
Okay.
Okay?
Know your value.
Know your value.
So yeah.
All right.
So we're back.
And we're back. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm in a goofy mood, but okay.
Okay. You
That's
can be
cool,
in
right?
It. Right.
Yay. Okay. These people think like, this lady crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Very
am.
much so.
I am.
Very much so.
But
how we starting it off?
So it was just because this is what I'm on. This is what I'm going through in life, and whatever I experience, whatever I feel like I want to share, I'm gonna bring it here to our platform and share it. And it's just like I'm watching this crazy world we live in, everyday life, and I feel that so many people still try to figure out who they are. And then on the flip side, some people just don't want to know who they are. And I'm just like, wait, it's a lot of comparison. It's still, I know social media is not going anywhere. So by me not able to kind of tackle the negativity, I'm like, you know what? What can I do to basically just accept what's happening?
Okay.
Because social media is just not going anywhere, right? But it's just, as this is happening, I feel like people don't know who they are. I feel like people just don't want to know who they are, slightly, not all. And also, I just want to encourage people for the ones who probably like, you know what? I know I am valuable. I know I'm important. I know that I'm equal. I know that I'm worthy, all of these things. But they feel that it's probably more negativity out there than positivity. And I just want to talk about like, hey, just know your value. So basically, to tell you the definition of value, of course, it's multiple, but value a person's principle or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. Okay?
Okay.
So by you knowing who you are, hopefully people know what their values are. Because we live in a crazy world to where name brands, hey, let me wear this, let me drive this. If you can afford it, great. Even if you can't, great. But I want people
that is not great.
Listen, that's great for them, not for me. But people keep up with the Joneses, whoever. But I'm just saying, like, people wear so many name brands. It's like they have to wake up and try to fight to purchase that name brand, and they losing their own name. Like, do you even know who you are? Like, do you wearing all these clothings, you actually helping that company market them? So it's just like, but why you're not able to know who you are? Wear your own name. Not to say I'm telling everybody go out there, wear a clothing line with your name on it. No, it's just like, really, you weren't about Gucci. You were about all these name brands. You probably can't even afford it, but you don't know who you are. Right. What does your name stand for? Because at the end of the day, your name is your brand. Right. Your name equals your brand, equals a legacy for your family, for your future. That's how I live my life. You get it? Yep. So people try to, what I'm trying to go with this. People feel that titles basically make them valuable, which is not true.
Okay.
So your title roll over to basically the money roll over to the influence. That's how you're able to purchase the things that you like. But what if all of that get swiped away? What if your title changes? What if that house, God forbid, just get taken from you, your car, whatever it is? Now you're going to feel like you're devalued. But in reality, we are valuable, because the day we were born, when God basically created us in our mother's womb, we already had all of the values. We already had all of the needs that we needed to be us. So I just want people to be like encouraged, like, hey, all this that you watching, or you feel like you have to have the name brands, you need to keep up with these freaking Jonases and all of the negativity. Like, look, know who you are. You don't have to prove to anybody what your values are, because he knows who you are. And I feel like that is enough. So I'll start with the intro with that.
Okay. You handed it to us.
I am.
And just to piggy off of what you're saying, I do concur. So yes, we do have, and I always say this, or I will start always saying this, we have an identity crisis. We don't know who we are. And from that, having titles do give us position of value. Because people would say I work hard for what I receive, but that's where it stops, right there at the title. So having the doctor title, having the pastor title, having the supervisor title gives them more, let's say, power to feel like they are something. It's like having that, I'm not going to even say having the Superman underneath, because that's not what it is. It's not underneath. It's really on top. So they'll scream from the mountaintop saying that I am, who I am. I'm the supervisor. I'm the pastor. I'm the doctor. So you should listen to me. But that's where it stops. So like you said, if you strip it away, they have no character. They don't have no substance thereafter. So yes, I believe that. So the next part would be the branding. They have no branding if you take away the clothing. They have no value when you take away the clothing. So that means they don't have a character. They don't know their self-worth. They don't know who they are. So some of the things I wrote, which was one, is worth. The usefulness, as well as the ethics, morals, principles. And that's the thing. They don't have those they don't stand on anything other than I have the title. They don't know their self-worth, the usefulness that they have within themselves to even other people. Because we are an asset to our friends, our families. And I think that's what is more important in life. Other than, you got to make your money to live. You have to do things to, sustain a living life here on earth. But I want to say that's 35% of your life, right? I just saw something last night when I was watching TV, and I don't know if this is true, but for, let's say, I guess a 70-year lifespan, you sleep for 26 years.
Wow.
I was like, what? So
wow.
So we may work 30 years, and 30 plus 26 is 56.
There you go.
So then you still got probably like couple of more years where you could just live. Right. So that's probably like, 70?
13 years?
Yeah, 13.
Almost.
13. No, it's not 13 years.
I was just adding to the 56 to get to the 70.
It's 14 years.
It's 14? I was close.
You was very close.
Listen, I was trying to get on the spot. Listen.
So 14 years, as to your point.
Right.
I just wanted to take a jab at that though. But
I was only off 1 year.
You was
1 year.
So you may take the and I don't see how that equates to 26 years, but that's a long time. But, just to sleep.
So that was the average person who really sleep minimum 8 hours a day?
Yes.
Okay, average.
Right.
Okay.
And if you equate it all together, and then you got to consider naps. And when you get older, you sleep a little bit longer.
Oh, it go back to the baby days.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how they evaluated it.
Gotcha.
So then you have the 14 years where you may travel, you may have a good time and stuff like that, which is, again, like I say, to me it's big because you still have to have a relationship at your job as well outside of your job.
Right.
And that relationship to me is more valuable because you can, for example, you can have a title, right?
Right.
You can work on a job. You can be a pastor. And then at the end, when you do your retirement dinner, nobody shows up.
I wonder why.
Right. Because you didn't use you only went off of the title.
Right.
You didn't have no principles. You didn't have no substance. You didn't know the worth of other people.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So what was more important to you was the fact that you had the title.
But how are they able to keep those titles?
Because they may have the degree. They may have, like I say, they work hard for it. So you can never take that away from them.
Okay.
They may have the experience. You can never take it away from them.
Right.
But outside of that, they don't know how to
be human.
That's a nice one. So it's some things I wrote down.
Go
right.
ahead.
They I put respect. They don't respect other people. Well, just overall having value, you show respect.
Right.
As well as build confidence. And I put other things, but I think what they also do is restrict freedom from other people because they want to be so in control. So by their value feeling like they are the supervisor or the doctor, they kind of restrict the people. So they'll make their schedule hard for them to not be free to be with their family because that's where jealousy can step in. They can be jealous of someone else because of what they have going on outside of, let's say, the job.
Right.
Like some pastors, they can kind of control the saints where they'll spend so much time in church because they want to kind of get the people under control.
Right.
But at the end of the day, these are not your people. These are God people, right?
Correct.
But what happens is other things go lack. Right. So when you, as a supervisor or a manager or whatever position you may have, if you sit up there and like just control a person just to work or make the hours crazy, then the family neglects and then you have calamity at the house. So the person would like literally sit back and be like, yeah, that's what I wanted, but you'll never know.
Right.
And some people have hidden jealousies that you can't see. So God end up getting them in some other type of way.
Gotcha.
But that's an example of a person first, well, with far as the titles. Now the identity crisis,
come on now.
That's something that is far more deep. And I guess we get that from what we indulge ourselves in, as well as lack at the house. Lack of attention, lack of affection, lack of just time well spent invested into an individual.
Right.
Or let's say the child in the house or the husband or the wife is not getting that much attention.
Right.
So we always put value elsewhere. Also, we always want to be accepted. And I think that happened since we were small.
Right. Because
we don't have it at the house. So we go to school and we want to be accepted by our friends. We want to be in the in crowd. And those are just some of the ideas that I'm just pulling off from what you're saying.
So I'm going to go back and kind of add what you said to the end, right?
Okay.
I want people to understand that you don't have to get that validation from anyone. So that's my point. My point is you already born. You already his child. you have everything that you already need. You just have to believe and have the faith. So when you go back to, like you said, when we don't get it from our home, this is where I'm at in life, meaning I don't expect really nothing from anyone, because I only want everything that I need and want, from him, to be honest, because people go through their own emotions. People go through their own roller coaster in life, because if you talk to someone who's not happy and you try to come to them to be their TA, that trusted adult, like, hey, I want to call you. If you call them at the wrong time when they're not happy, guess what? 90% they're going to give you a response that's also going to be negative, because that's where they're at in their life. So who can you go to where you need that real positive response 24/7, not based off of feelings, not based off what you might be going through personally in life. So it's just, for me to know my value, I have to keep reminding myself, like, you know what? I don't need validation from no one. I don't need to talk to someone that's negative, because you're trying to devalue who I am, and I know who I am, and I keep trying to tap into who I am, versus someone try to, kind of basically, downgrade you, like basically devalue you.
Yep.
So when it comes to the people who know who they are, and they probably feel like, well, dang, I really probably have nobody to talk to. They probably feel like they go to somebody who kind of probably bring them down. And not to say when a friend tell you some real that you need to hear, there's two different things. We're talking about someone basically who's just negative, or who's trying to keep you down because they're down. But you need to understand that once you know who you are, I feel like all of these chains are going to break, because you're going to have the armor over you that no matter what comes your way, no matter who try to devalue you, you know your worth, you know you're valuable. Guess what? All of that stuff will just basically just fall down.
Right.
So I do agree that some people probably need that validation. They need it from their spouse. I feel like that's putting pressure on their loved ones. Why do I need to tell you every single day? Not to say it's bad. It's like, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the value that, you know what? Own your value. Because I might not have a great day for me to say, you know what, DP, oh my goodness, this is the day I'm supposed to tell you all of the greatness things about you. But guess what? I'm not having a good day, so I'm not going to tell you. So why do my words need to keep you going versus you already have what you know, what your worth, what your values are, for you to keep moving forward on your own? So why put that pressure on other people, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so I wrote down validation from mates, as far as relationships. I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if it's gonna be agreed upon, but that's why you have a relationship, to receive validation. I was telling somebody this weekend, if we just focus on our own, there's a lot of things that can be accomplished. And one of those things is building together. And I think you have to have, in order to build together, you have to hit key elements to keep growing. So the person was saying, oh, you didn't tell me I was beautiful, or you didn't compliment me. And I think, and I look at it like this: if I don't, somebody else will. And if somebody else will, then you will
lean over to them.
Exactly.
You'll depend on them. But is that fair?
Right. So to get to that point, because that's what I was gonna go to next. Is that fair? Yes, that's fair. Because I chose to be with that person. And I guess that's the way I see it.
Gotcha.
I should not never stop being a complimenter, right? Or a validator, or just like kids. Did I do a good job? Yes, you did a good job.
Gotcha.
Because they look for the assurance.
Right.
Right. So we all, like, even from God to us, we look for the assurance from God to know that he has us when we are at our lowest. So if it's replicated from God to man, it will also be from man to man. That's how you build relationships over time. Because that person can see not just your flaws, but see your attributes, right? And then they complement it with gives you the encouragement. For example, let's look at comedians.
All right.
Comedians always tell jokes around their friends, and some of their friends will say, hey, listen, you're a good comedian. And so they will build the courage to step on stage and begin to tell the jokes.
Gotcha.
Now, the crowd, they need the validation from the crowd, right?
Right.
To know whether or not they funny to continue.
Yeah. True.
Now, not saying that they don't get the hiccups in the role here and there where they get booed or the tomatoes thrown at them per se.
Right.
But they continue, right? So I believe that to come back, I believe that there's a reason why validation is stated within a dynamic.
Okay.
So it can be friendship, it can be co-workers, because you need to be even validated at your job with evaluations, right? So you can know where you stand. So I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, because you shouldn't solely depend on it.
Right.
But I believe that should be included in a relationship.
So I guess I will agree to where what I'm trying to say is I don't depend on it.
Right.
And not to say, this is why we just have conversations. We sparking conversation.
Right.
Because I'm the type of woman, for me, who I am, I don't depend on no one to tell me, you know what, Terica, you are a giving person, or you are a kind, loving, whatever my values are personally. Like, it feels good for others to know who I am. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that is the validation. It feels good, but what if I go a week or 2 weeks without nobody complimenting me on my values, whatever? I'm still be okay.
Right. I don't think you should solely depend on somebody.
But some people will. Some people are.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't agree with you needing 100% assurance from somebody else to tell you who you are. That's what. Yeah,
and again, I agree.
Yeah.
You shouldn't solely depend on it, but this is why you have this topic, knowing your value. Right. So in that, there's confidence. So you have to be confident within yourself. Some other terms that because I want to turn it positive, because I think this is where you was heading.
Okay.
So within knowing the value, you have boldness. Again, being free. So I put down freedom. You have to have hard work, modest, risk, ambitious. Okay, we said respect, as well as self-esteem.
I feel like you listed the characteristics of leadership.
Okay,
I love it,
but
it could be a value,
right? It is.
Yeah.
It is in essence. It is, because it's a way to look at it. Right. These are the ways that you need. That's having the confidence. That's building. That's moving forward.
Right.
And knowing your worth, you will have these attributes.
Hello.
It would be on your own. You'll be free to make your own decisions, not looking for someone to make the decisions for you.
Oh my goodness. Listen, you just triggered something. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I know people who really don't think for themselves. And I really want people to really fully understand what we mean by know your value, so that way you can really help yourself first. Because if you don't help yourself, how can someone else help you? Because at the end of the day, everyone doesn't want help, and I understand. But when you just said your last statement, a lot of people don't think for themselves. And I'm puzzled to why people don't, where they feel like, again, it goes back to they need that validation. They need all of the attention, whatever they feel like it needs to be from somebody else, versus you already walking in, already have that confidence, already have that self-esteem. When you going to do the work and kind of just help yourself first. Help yourself, help others. Help yourself, help you.
So true. So you said the hard work. That's what I have put down, because it takes dedication, focus.
It does.
You know, to like kind of iron out the kinks, but you have to pay attention to it. You can't iron in the dark. Right. So you need some light in order, but you have to first focus on whatever your task is. So if you want to build yourself in character, if you want to, you have to do it. Right. So no one else can come in and tell you to do it, because at a stage, even your parents back off from parenting to a certain degree. Facts. Right? So they may go from 100 to 75 to 50. Then at a point, it just started to be like 10. Yes. You get what I'm saying?
They still love you.
Right. They still love and care. Those
Everything's
things,
still the same.
Right. Those things they will not stop doing.
It won't stop.
But
after
a while, it just really dies down.
Yes. You're draining them. I feel like, is it that?
I mean, it may be that.
Is it that they feel like, you know what? I cannot show you no more than you already know in life. I cannot make you drink this water.
So, right. So what the parents do is all of the knowledge that you have, like encountered over the years or built over the years, they will say, okay, now it's time for you to use it. Now, that depends on what type of parent you are. Like, overall, the parents are. Because some of them are still coddle their baby till they pass away. But the majority of parents can't carry the weight of their child as well as theirs.
That's not healthy.
Right.
It's not healthy.
So those are the things that I think about when it comes down to, you have to learn how to work hard on yourself. Right. You have to, chime in on how can I know what my worth is. And that's where you focus, and you look from your weak points to your strength.
I agree.
Just as we are focusing on other people and what they're good at and what they are not good at, or what they look good doing or not look good doing, if we can focus on all of that, we can take the time out and focus on ourselves.
Facts.
And what we got going on in our own home. And our own life as well. Right. Yes. Also, in working hard, we must have fun with it. Right. You must build, and this, I think, you build character too.
Yes. Build your Looney Tune and your people in your head. No.
Don't do what T do.
Don't do what T do. Walt Disney and Looney Tune.
You gotta have some type of self-control with that.
There's no control on that world. So
So with the fun, you must take risk. Yes. I'm just adding on, not saying it mushes together, but we have to all understand, with knowing your value, will take risk in order to learn about what gives you value. Right. So, I mean, you can just try things out. You don't know if you're adventurous unless you go and have an adventure.
Guess what, you guys? Live life on the edge. Guess what? With faith. That's what he just said.
Oh, I don't know about that one, but
yes,
you think so?
Yeah, like when you just live life on the edge, like, you know what? I don't think I'm adventurous, like you just said, but guess what? I'm gonna try it. You know what? Because I got that faith that, you know what? Whatever the outcome was, I still tried it. So that's what I meant. Yeah, there you go.
I agree.
Yeah.
As well as with the risk, you take the action.
Yes.
I like this word, boldness.
Oh.
Be bold and courageous to take the risk, try new things out in order, and understand that over time it gives you like worth.
Right.
And I think about it like this. Let's say if you wasn't a traveler and you begin to travel, because I know probably like 3 people that travels by themselves.
I know someone.
Right.
Yes.
And to me, that's big.
Amazing.
But I knew where it started from.
Where?
At home.
Yeah.
They got tired of just staying in the crib.
Okay.
You know, just wanting to do.
Right.
And they just said, you know what? The worst that can happen is XYZ.
Hello.
And then they end up just,
They took
you know
that
what?
fate.
Yeah, they just jumped out there.
They did it.
And they started small.
Yes.
They started maybe with a dinner.
Yes.
They may started with
Yes.
the movies. They may started.
They started locally.
Yeah,
they did.
Just started with the, like going to the bars and different things or clubs by themselves.
Yes.
And then from that,
Yeah.
then they just
Got on that plane.
gradually just expanded from that. And I admire that about them.
Same here. Because I have someone, and one of my homegirls just told me, she's like, you know what? I went to 10 cities in 2021. I was like, what? And my girl was just sending me all of the pictures. She was here. She was there. And I was just like, yes. And that was her dream years ago that we talked about it. And she was like, you know, I just want to travel. And I was like, okay, just do it. And she did it last year. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. And but like you said, because that person started locally.
Right.
I was like, why are you going such and such place by yourself? I don't know. Like, of course, it's way before the pandemic when she went out by herself. But fast forward, she went to 10 cities by herself last year.
That's what's
I
up.
need to drop a gems on her. She know who she is. Listen, go ahead. That's my girl. I'm so proud of her.
Right. And
But, yeah.
and so that with that is the confidence and having fun with that.
Right.
So that kind of circled back.
Yes.
Also to knowing your values even in relationships. And I put down here integrity, of course, loyalty, honesty. And understanding that this is the things, because I think in relationships we do not like honesty,
Why is that?
because being real, it can be too much.
I feel you, and I'm not going to disagree, but I'm so strong on communication and honesty. It goes hand in hand.
I believe that.
And I know someone again. This person is married, and sadly, this person does not trust their wife and don't believe nothing she says.
No, if
So-
she built the foundation for that, then yeah.
I don't know if she built the foundation.
I don't think he's gonna just do it just to be doing it though.
You're right, because this person hired a private investigator to follow her. Okay? And it's real talk. This going on as we speak. And it's like, where is the communication and the honesty for y'all just to talk about it versus you spending your money, hire somebody to follow her. Now you upset because she didn't tell you the truth. And it's just like, why? It's a waste of time.
Because it's the lack of communication and honesty. Because some will would just stay to me in a relationship, even though they want to leave.
Why? Please don't say the kids. Please don't say nothing. Okay, I don't know. Well, I'm not there yet, so I don't know.
That may be the dynamic. So
that
you can
dynamic.
exclude it
Right.
from the table, right?
You can't.
But that's just the way it is. But in relationships, there must be, in any relationship, any dynamic, you must have honesty.
So if this husband know his value, like, you know what? I really don't like whatever he's seeing. If you know your value, if you know this confidence, you know I can get through it, if you know whatever, I can move forward. So why waste the time to do what's happening by me just going based off what the husband is telling me? Why stay? Why? So if you know who you are, if you know your value, I feel like it's an easy decision for you just to move forward.
I agree.
But to each his own. I'm not in nobody's shoes. I get it. It's not that easy. But I feel like as soon as we all know who we are, and we all know our worth, and we all know our values, we had the communication, we had the honesty, especially when it comes to relationships, what we're talking about now. I feel like this whole life and world would be a better place. Healthy wise, mentally, mental state on another level. And that's what I'm for. I'm all about the mental state. And the reason why I bring up this conversation is because I have to do this every single day in order for my kids to be happy, because them kids looking at you. So for mommy, guess what? Better put on my little gospel, my worship music, get my devotion on. Hey, and I send out my little blast, or, my affirmations. I might sing you here and there, things that I do. And my value is, what? For me to put a smile on someone else's face, or for me just to know, it's just a lot to go with that. But once you know who you are, I feel like you happy. So what's wrong with being happy? I just wanted to say that. Sorry.
Right. So
I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. I'm all about being happy. Y'all be happy. Stop being depressed. Stop being negative. Stop being whatever that's just bad. Just choose to be happy. Choose to know who you are. Choose to know your freaking values. Choose to know that, guess what? Whatever you're going through, because at some point we all go struggle. I feel like we all struggling. We struggling in a different kind of dynamic to where we struggling. Okay, and this government foolishness, it got us here. But at the end of the day, just really know your value, that God will pull us through.
Right. So to start back from,
go ahead,
what you mentioned about your what you call it?
What?
With your friend.
Someone. I keep telling myself to say the word someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. With somebody
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you asked a question, and I believe that is called investment. The person invested time within that relationship.
They did.
And with that, that's the reason why he feel like I have to go to this extent. He knows. I think that he should know his value, and this is why he's putting in the hard work in order to give himself the esteem to leave. Because with a man, it may be just a little bit different. I need proof. Cause me, I'm like that. I was dealing with a situation with a female. I had to see it with my own eyes.
Okay.
And even though it got out of proportion, I mean, well, it didn't. What happened was I ended up being lied on to make it seem like I did something I didn't do, but I didn't do it. So because I wasn't there to protect hold my face good, I got picked on.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And we talking about adults, and it came from a lie. I told the individual literally, I just want to, if I'm in this dynamic, if you're about to cheat on me, right? Because that's what it was. If you started to talk to another guy, just tell me.
Right.
And I will leave.
Right.
But she decided not to, right?
Gotcha.
So when she decided not to, I pull up, because this is what we normally do. When I pull up, it's somebody else caught there. So I'm not stupid.
She was stupid. If I know you're going to pull up, what the hell you coming here for?
Because of where I was supposed
not you. I'm saying, I know you pulling up on me, why would I tell somebody else to come?
Why
knowing I know you might pull up. Why bring somebody else to my home knowing you might pull up?
Right.
That was stupid is what I'm saying.
But with
on her part, not yours.
Right.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Okay.
So, but with it, what ended up happening was when I pulled, I mean, I can't explain that, but I know how she thought I was going to do one thing, but that one thing I end up doing was cut extremely short. Okay. So that's why our dynamic was because if she's in my area, she'll pull up on me. Okay. If I'm in her area, I'll pull up on her.
Right.
So since I was already going in that direction, I was like, man, I got 2 hours to spare.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before I go. Right. So, hey, she may be asleep, this, that, and the third. Right. This is not our first rodeo with this type of interaction. Okay. So I pull up, I see the car in the yard. I'm not dumb. I ain't even go knock on the door or nothing like that. Wow. But I wanted to see if it was a particular person. So I stayed in the car. Eventually, within, let's say 5 minutes, the person comes downstairs, get in the car and leave. Oh. So I'm like, yo, I don't tell me this is this guy. Right. Because I already explained, if you got somebody new,
Right.
because they was close to like her, like within the dynamic she was in, her work situation, I was like, yo, don't tell me it's this guy.
Right.
And if it is, just say it so I can move on.
Move on.
So me being who I am,
Gotcha.
and I'm invested into this type of situation,
All right.
even though I know my value, I know what I bring to the table, I needed
Gotcha.
proof.
You need to prove.
So I found out it's exactly a particular person, and she lied. And then when I confronted her, she was like, yeah, this is the person, da, 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 da. And so she just kept playing the game. So it ended up getting other people involved that was like, yo, bro, why you doing X, Y, Z? I'm like, bro, that's not what I'm doing. But this is what she's saying to cover herself.
Wow.
So she lied to other people
That's sad.
to cover herself to
That's
make
sad.
me look like the bad guy.
Right.
And I used to tell her, I used to be like, yo, I'm the joking point in y'all conversations, but you would rather that than to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
So that means you don't value me as a person.
That is sad. I agree.
Or you don't value our dynamic as a
like
person.
that. You gave me some electric on this left.
shock.
You gave me some shock because, oh my gosh, that's what happened to me. Sadly, you know, like the past relationship, and it's just like I just accepted it because I never thought that if you had to lie on me to make whatever our situation was to make you look better, I didn't never think of it that you basically, you don't think I'm valuable. You basically devalue who I am.
Yeah.
And I never thought of that until just now.
Right.
I have all of this shock in this left arm.
Because the one thing that I
triggered that.
One thing I do in a relationship is always say, hey, listen, you are a representation of me.
Wow.
So since you're a representation of me, don't
Hello.
embarrass me.
Come on now.
Don't embarrass me for the sake of being, let's say, right.
Right.
Or because you're just lazy. You know?
Right.
So you got to understand, the people going to say, that's your girl? And they're going to look like, well, why would you date somebody like that?
Right.
But then your friends is like, that's your man?
Right.
Man, he looks da-da-da-da-da. So you got to understand my value just walking around. That's why men deal heavily with respect. They'll fight or they will die for their respect.
Right.
And women may not understand that because all they're governed by is their feelings. So we're governed by principles.
Right.
You know, certain things we just not going to allow people to cross at no point. And there's some things we can let that person get away with that.
Right.
But when it comes down to relationship, that's why I believe within the dynamic, there should be honesty, there should be loyalty, integrity. Like for me, in some of my relationships, like I just was straight up, this is what I want.
Got you.
You know, and if this is what you're okay with dealing with,
Right.
then you know, you can leave. You have that option.
Right.
That door is open for you to leave. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of women I realize show like, you know what? Like since you was 100 with me, I'd rather deal with this type.
Thank you.
And from there but then, you know, feelings get involved and all that stuff.
Of course. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't really deal with it.
Right. So or they can, but they just you right.
That's just it. Because a commitment, marriage, you cannot change anyone. So when you said the word deal, like that's another key thing of relationships. I don't want to change you. Don't change me. So are you able to deal / handle who I am? Because if you cannot in the long term, don't waste my time. And I don't want to waste your time. And I feel that a lot of people not being fair by them being not honest, don't have that communication, not knowing who they are. While we on this topic, I feel like you don't get into the game when it comes to relationships, let alone, you know, marriage is in the future, but some people just not honest.
I think honestly, overall, nobody's ready for a relationship. The people that's not married, The people that's just out here, I don't think they're really ready for a relationship because they're not willing to put in the hard work to bring value to the relationship.
You know what?
Because even knowing yourself, it's like knowing the situation that you're in. You know, and knowing, you have to know what gives you the validation, what gives you your worth, you know, your usefulness. Just understanding in the relationship, like just understanding your own worth. There's a lot of stuff you just won't deal with. Right. But we deal with it because we want a relationship.
And that's the bad route to go to. That's bad. And
can we just start living in our truth?
I want everyone to live the truth. But everybody can't handle the truth now.
But this is the thing.
Okay.
With the truth, it cannot be any and everything that we want.
You're right.
That's what I believe. It cannot be any and everything we want.
Some things have to get compromised. Exactly. Is what you okay. All right. Does control come in there somewhere?
So there should be a limiter set.
A scale of this limiter. This is what I envisioned when you said it. I saw the elevator going up.
Right. So yeah, there should be a stopping point.
Right.
That's why I say you can't. The dynamic shouldn't be too wild. It shouldn't be too drawn out.
Got you.
It should be set at a certain peak.
Right.
Because even like in music, you cannot go over a certain peak. Other than that, it's going to be distorted. So the clarity isn't like clear.
Got you.
You're going to be hitting these peaking points, and then you're going to start getting into the distortion. And then it's not gonna sound right, because that's the end goal, right?
Right.
For it to sound clear, precise, and right.
Gotcha.
At all levels.
Right.
So in different dynamics or situations, yes, you can live your truth.
Okay.
But then it still has to be set at a certain limit. That's why we have rules.
Gotcha. And agreements. I call them agreements.
Yeah.
Right.
See, y'all always gotta change everything.
T always changes stuff,
right?
I be like, because I don't like the word rules.
But so that's what I'm saying.
Can we come to an agreement?
No. So, and I get what you're trying to get at, but let it be what it is.
Let it be what it is.
Right.
Okay.
And don't try. And that's the thing. We don't like the reality of life. That's why we get stuck in certain dynamics, because we don't accept just the reality of life. Like, know what's real, accept it, and move on. I had to tell my son that yesterday. Like, we have to learn how to move on, Juice. We cannot just stay in. You can't stay angry the whole day.
You cannot. 30 seconds.
Come on, man. Count to 10.
Yes, 30 seconds or less.
And let's move on.
Gotta move on.
Because this is a part of life.
Right.
You can't constantly just throw your temper tantrums and it be all day.
Like
a person that's mad all day, come on, man. You can't deal with that.
You wasted your time, wasted your energy.
Listen, I remember I apologized to somebody. I knew they were still going to be mad.
Okay.
Because they can't even accept the apology. Even though they're right, I admit that they're right. And then I apologize for my wrong. They're still going to be mad.
Wow.
Why would you want to deal with that type of energy?
That's not healthy.
That's key negative.
That's key negative.
The person their key senses is on negativity.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I wrote down the word control. And I didn't know this about myself, and I'm learning as we're talking. Kind of off the subject a little bit, but whatever. But if I'm fighting for my time, because I feel that you have to go to work in order to make your money, to live, but I'm fighting for my time so I can control my time, so I can control my money. So control, when you get in a relationship, I'm talking about commitment, I'm talking about marriage, because I'm not married. And yeah, we never been married, but do people feel like they need control?
Stop including me in your example. It just stated.
It's just stated. Yeah. It's just because it's like I can't ask you a question to where because we not there. But I feel like people try to control you when you get in a relationship, let alone when you get in a commitment relationship, when you get in a marriage. I feel that you would try to, not you, I feel like a person is going to try to control T. I don't want no one to control me. So that is why I say, can we have an agreement? Is there such, can we please have this rule or agreement? Because I don't want you controlling me. Because why? I know my value. I know who I am. So, but I don't want you to devalue me. So is control in there somewhere? No? Yes? Maybe so? Can control not be in there at all? I'm asking.
I know what you're trying to do.
What I'm trying to do.
Ask me a question so I can answer.
Yeah.
So this I think there's several elements to this question. So I don't know if I should expound on it. I know I have to expound on it because you're gonna hit me across the head with it. So I am.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look at it like this. Do you want to be in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to be married?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's what you want,
I do.
Then there's rules to it. You have to set boundaries on a relationship, especially with women. Because if you don't, then things will go haywire. And women should know that themselves. This is why I believe that women love to be, I wouldn't say controlled, but women would love to be tamed to a certain degree.
Okay.
Right? So that's just like if your man walking around and you doing something out of line, and he looks at you, and then you be like, yeah, let me not do that.
Yeah, I like that.
That builds stimulation within the relationship. That same type of energy that you receive from that is the same type of energy he's trying to give off. That's why he sets the rules. Right? So you have to learn, and I was telling someone, you have to learn how to look at it halfway full, not halfway empty. Women, to me, or girls to me, has to learn how to change their mindset, because everything they perceive from a man is negative. This is why we are not married nowadays, because you receive this thing as, oh, I'm an independent woman for one, I got my own for two, which is the same thing, and I'm doing things for so many years by myself. Now when a man comes in to be a man, you can't allow it because you feel like he's controlling. He's not controlling. He's setting the boundaries of where he wants his relationship to go. Women has the position to submit. You are the weaker vessel. It doesn't matter how you look at it, right? It doesn't matter the money that you make. You are weaker than a man. Now, you have your strengths, and you have to know where your strengths lies. But in a relationship, if you want it to work, we're not talking about if you want to control it, because women want to control relationships nowadays. But if you want a man to control the relationship, you have to submit. Nobody says that's slavery, but you have to submit. But to go back to your point, because I'm going to do a whole rant about that. But to go to your point, to say that the guy has control, that's not true. He's not trying to control you. He's trying his best to set, let's say, the rules, put the rules in place now. For later, we don't have to deal with this issue. Get yourself together. Now, everyone has to put themselves in position to get what they want For example, take it off a relationship. You want to get a better job. What do you do? XYZ.
Right.
These are the rules.
Right.
If you want the promotion, what do you have to present? Whatever's in the rule books, whatever's in the description
Right.
of the job, you have to provide. Even they will curtail it to satisfy different, let's say the education and the experience. They accept the experience equate to the education.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But that's the rule. And we have to understand, we are great. Women are great following the rules around the relationship with a man. But when it comes down to the man, they can't accept it. No, I can't do this. That's my girl voice.
I feel like Kevin Hart.
No, I can't do this. Like, no, you hurt my feelings. No, but then the job tells you got to report at this time and do XYZ. You're doing it.
And they're doing it
automatic.
Right.
Matter of fact, you'll leave 5 minutes early. You won't even have sex with your man before leaving the crib, and that's your routine because the job told you got to come 15 minutes
earlier. And you gotta do it.
But you can do it when it comes down to everything else. And I'll take it even here real quick.
All right.
With the kids, you as a woman set rules for your own kids.
Facts.
And you want them to follow it. So that means, and I'm gonna even take it to another element, another place. So God gives the man's the rule. The man gives the wife's the rule. The wife gives it to the kids. The kids go out here and they just exemplify it.
Right.
You can know a child is trained by what you see on the outside.
I got you.
So that's the same thing that will happen in a relationship.
I got you.
So I don't get that whole he's trying to control me. I don't understand that.
He working on me.
You have to put yourself in position.
Okay.
And in that, there's still value.
Right.
Going back to the point.
Okay. That's how we closing it. I
Right.
love it.
What they do. This your boy DP.
This your girl T.
And we're the Gemini Gems, representing for the Geminis across the world, giving our own Miami perspective.
For sure.
So you can follow us on all podcast platforms at Geminis-Gems.
Also follow us on Instagram, Geminis_Gems, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Geminis Gems.
Hey, make sure you like, follow, you comment, and you subscribe.
Yes.
And make sure when you type it in, it's Geminis with the S, Gems with a Z. And what we do, T?
Drop them gems.
Drop them gems.